What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jacked Ramsays pregame show. Danny Marang, Brandon Sprague. Well, Portland Trailblazers taking on the Golden State Warriors, but it's going to take a hot minute to get to the actual pregame notes because there's been a lot between, end of last game and tonight's game. A whole 48 hours, and yet, Brandon, here we are.
It feels like there's been 7 stories published, 4 different comments and quotes. I'm going to tell you right now off the top, I know we'll get into this game. Maybe. I don't know. I
prepped a little bit, but the big news is that the Warriors are currently favored by 15.
Oh. I got to be honest with you, man. I've been in a weird spot since about 10:45 a.m.
Okay.
So I realized that the letter O was asked the same question he's asked
8 to
10 times a year. And he did the same answer that he always does. I'm committed. I don't know why you guys keep saying this. And then in ESPN, they'll still tell him that he doesn't know what he's talking about and he should be traded. But I listened to the Zach Lowe, Kevin Pelton podcast today, and I don't know if I could have got more depressed by doing anything else realistically than doing that.
Care to explain for anybody who didn't get to catch KP and Lowe?
Well, I'd highly advise people to go listen to any podcast or work that we, pub here on the podcast. It's just like a friendly thing of like, those are some of the best to do it in the business. But the podcast, it's a half podcast of Blazers. It's a half podcast, I think, of the Mavericks because Tim McMahon was brought on. But
yeah,
KP and Lowe, they spend 45 minutes just doing where do the Blazers go from here?
Yes. And for those that don't know, I know Pelton is the Seattle guy. KP spends most of his time, I think, in Portland when he goes to live games. So
he's almost, all his live games are almost always in Portland. Yeah. You know him better than I do, but he's a really nice guy. But so they go through all the trades, and we know that that's where this team is right now. And Zach Lowe is too plugged in. Kevin Pelton is too smart for those guys to basically say there isn't a deal. It's very concerning to hear that because then it takes you to the place of, so the only real asset anybody wants is the guy who reaffirmed his commitment today, which was great to hear. But I think it puts it in perspective of kind of where they're at right now because they went through all the teams that could possibly be linked to a CJ McCollum. And they basically said, that guy's just as good, if not better this year. Or they said, why would the team want that contract?
And this is why I'm gonna take my victory lap. This is the exact shit show that I predicted 4 years ago. Was that they would hold on to this too long, and he was already, CJ McCollum, not living up to his contract status. And by the time his new contract came around, it was going to be a real problem and almost impossible to get a equal or close to equal value in return.
I mean, I was listening. I don't normally listen to podcasts at a gym. Like, I'm pretty heavy rap guy at the gym, but like today, I'm like, I'm going to listen to this.
There's going to be some content out today.
And I mean, like, not to start the pod off too grim. I'm at least smiling while I say this, but I don't know who they're going to hire, Danny, or what Joe Cronin's going to end up doing, but it feels like they're looking up at Everest and they're like, well, we need to get to base camp in the next 50 games. And I
don't know if it's that possible. Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, no, the storm's coming. That's the real problem, is that all of the chickens are coming home to roost at the same time. That's the problem. And this is what has happened as they've collectively kicked the can for 4 years. Everything that I kept hammering was, you've got these two guys in Dame and CJ who make a lot of money and they don't fit together. You can try this stuff around them, cool, but it's not going to matter unless you get one of those apex wings alongside them. That is the only thing that is going to change this. It's either that or getting somebody on a rookie scale deal a la 2017. Right. That was it. Once that window went gone, just gone. Gone. That's what they ran into. And when It's just such a dumb situation. It's a dumb situation that was wildly preventable, and the ego of one of the biggest assholes I've ever had the ability to work around, near, with, or not even alongside, just in the general vicinity of, collectively screwed this team.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a little too much information, but like I was literally doing ab exercises, and while I'm doing a rep, I'm like, Neil fucked us. Neil fucked us. Neil fucked us. I couldn't stop saying it. I was just like, because I'm listening to Lowe, and Lowe is running down
all of the different things. Yeah.
Oh, and he's, even like the Nurkic trade, they basically concluded the Nurkic trade was his one big win.
And he lucked into it.
And I highly advise, like, I know we kind of ruined a lot of it. I don't want to be an aggregator. Please go listen if you can. Like, they're well worth 45 minutes of listening. They're very good at what they do. And you'll get a little more detail of some of the stuff I'm leaving out. But, woo! I was down when I was thinking about this podcast tonight, because I'm like, I don't know where this team goes from here. I don't know how they get out of this. Do you trade CJ for parts? But if you trade him for parts, then what do you do with those parts?
What parts are real? Like
Karis LeVert isn't doing anything to change what this team is. And I don't know if that's a piece you use in the future. So it's just, it was one of those moments today where I was like, damn it.
Listen, I saw the SI's, the crossover said that, CJ in a first for Ben Simmons. And I was like, send that in, baby. Dunk, put that in the can and fire that to the field office. Because if that was ever on the table, I would turn myself into, I'd make the best Joe Cronin cosplay ever, and Joe would be taped up in a closet somewhere because I'd be doing the job.
You see it, and that's great. I saw this trade being shared around a lot, and I'm kind of subscribing to a lot of different media members who play the trade game, or say they don't play the trade game anymore, because it just, all it does is get you excited for something that's probably not going to happen.
Oh, that's never happening.
And I know it's not going to happen for you, but for me, I'm just like, if you look at a trade and you instantly go, yes, Portland should do it.
Oh, yeah.
You should probably look at the other pieces of that trade and go, why would they do that?
100%.
Why would they do that?
100%.
And that's the unfortunate part of that beast, is they don't feel realistic. And, I talked to Sam Amick today. It was interesting to hear what he had to say. He does think Ben Simmons, if they could get him here for CJ, another piece and some serious draft capital, he thinks that Ben Simmons would re-engage and kind of lock back into who Ben Simmons was, because it'd be a fresh start, and that's great to
and
hear.
Sam is about as plugged in on the Simmons stuff as there is right now.
But the problem with that is, no matter what Dame said today, I think Daryl is at a point where he's doing staring contest.
Oh, he's pot committed now.
Yes.
And the funny thing about this is,
struggling right now.
Well, that's the funny thing is Philly's not in a place to be able to do that. They started off like they could be. Now they're not. And so is as much as Daryl talks this game, is he really committed to pissing a year of Joel Embiid's prime down the drain?
If it means he gets Dame next year, which I don't think Dame will want out because, again, his comments, but I'm just saying, if Daryl thinks that's the play and in the summer is when it happens, it feels like he's going to be willing to do it.
Oh, I think he is, but is Joel okay with this?
I don't know. Joel seems to be cool with not having Ben Simmons around anymore. He didn't really like him.
Sure. I don't. And here's the other thing. And I hopped on Locked On 76ers with Serena Winters the other day, and I said this. If it does come down to Dame requesting a trade in the summer, Philly's got like the third or fourth best offer. So I don't think Ben Simmons...
Who has a better offer than Philly right now?
New Orleans by miles. Boston by miles.
Oh, well, I mean, Dame has the no clause, right? That's Dame's choice.
No, they can send him wherever they want to. Dame does not have a no trade clause. I don't think any active player has one right now, to be honest. I'd have to go back and through, but I don't think anyone has one active. But
who did you say? You said New Orleans, and who was the second team? Sorry,
Boston.
Oh, well, Boston would be kicking around the obvious one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jalen Smart and picks.
Yeah.
If I told you Ben Simmons or Jalen Smart and picks or Ben and picks, who are you taking?
I take a wing.
Don't get me wrong. I love Ben.
No, I know.
But like Jalen also doesn't have the other issues of like being Ben Simmons.
Well, I loved Colin Cowherd comes on after our radio show, and
I heard his deal too.
He threw it out, and I love I got instant reaction. I can't believe he thought of this. This is amazing. I'm like, this has been bantered around
for at least a year.
This isn't some new revelation trade that Colin Cowherd all by himself came up with, man.
I've seen some people in chat say, no way they give us Jalen. For Damian Lillard, they absolutely would.
They're also, go look at them. They're in a desperate spot.
Weird
too.
spot.
They just lost to the Lakers, man. And Jalen's out right now, but still, that team is in a weird place.
And they just beat the brakes off Portland.
It's almost like their former GM didn't know what the fuck he was doing the last 3 years. The guy that, that's right, people in Portland keep advocating for.
But yeah, in New Orleans, BI and that trove of picks.
I'm not very high on him.
Listen,
I got to be honest with you. I'd rather have Jalen.
Oh, sure. But when you're talking about picks, they've got picks from the AD deal, those Laker picks. Ooh.
What years do you know the years off
the top of my head? No. I think they're 23 and 25.
So you'd probably bundle. We're getting too far into this.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Like there are better offers. So Daryl's sitting there and squatting like a staring contest is like, I don't give a shit about you. It's very much Mad Men. Like, I think about you all the time. It's like, I don't think about you at all.
Right,
like,
exactly.
If you're the Blazers, the 76ers aren't even like the top of your billing of like what's on the table. And I've heard say, the Blazers will lose leverage. When has anybody ever lost? Like, everybody gets like, AD had leverage. He was only going to go to the Lakers. They got Lonzo, BI, at a pile of picks and Hart. They didn't get screwed.
Well, there's one part of this that we're not talking about. First of all, when do you lose leverage? Dennis Schroeder lost a shit ton of leverage.
Well, he's also not a superstar.
I know. But the only reason I might put the 76ers above what you're saying, despite the draft capital difference, is the fact that you don't have to play him as much if you ship him to the East as you would if you saw him in the West.
Sure.
And I don't even know how serious that would be. But again, we are getting way ahead of ourselves. Yeah. He committed himself yet again for the 180th time. It just was kind of depressing to hear a Zach Lowe type say, I don't really know what the value and who that CJ McCollum piece is that you get in return, because Philly doesn't have. He basically said Philly gives zero fucks about CJ. It is Dame or
they're
it's
big game
nothing.
Hunting still. They are big game hunting still. Dame Beal.
But he made a good point, and this is the one point I think everybody's known. It's like, why would they need CJ McCollum if they already have Seth Curry and Tyrese Maxey? That doesn't make any sense.
CJ's those two guys combined. That's the thing.
Yeah, but you'd rather take Maxey than CJ.
Long term, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
I thought he made a lot of really good points, and it was just kind of a bummer. But
it's not great, that's for sure. Before we kind of shift gears a little bit, I will say this. If it's not Ben, the name that I keep kind of going back and forth with is Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
Hayward's the guy for me if it's not Ben, if you're going that next step down. Because I don't think Siakam's going to shake free. And I don't think a collective amount of capital is going to make sense. And none of the Pacers guys make any sense as far as a CJ replacement or a wing replacement. Like, I like Karras, but I liked CJ.
I like Karras too, but
I liked CJ for Karras, like 2 years ago when you were talking about like bundling him with somebody else.
He's having a tough season too.
Well, he just came back too, so. Yeah, Eduardo says low killed Rocco. Yeah, let's go. Cub's been playing like poo. Let's be.
Well, he said
honest.
He's been anti-Rocco for 2 years, and that people killed him when he came out with the take, and now he's kind of like, he wasn't like reveling in it, but he's like, it's kind of playing out how I thought it would.
Yeah. So, it's really hard to see why the Blazers should have gone for Aaron Gordon there, huh? I still have idiots killing me over that, and I'm just like, you sure about that? So, but yeah, that's the state of where we're at with that stuff right now. Let's move on to the next stuff. And, first of all, welcome everybody into the pregame show. It's a pregame wrap-up surrounding show. Let me kind of adjust our little header here. Because we do have some news tonight. Where did I put it? It's always a matter of where I put it, Sprague. There we go.
Said.
Oh, hey-oh. Jack Ramsay's watch party. That is happening tonight between the second and third quarters. We will kick it off a little bit before the start of the second quarter, and then it will run through halftime and through the third quarter. So it'll be a big chunk of the game. We will talk about a lot of stuff we're talking about here, but we will also talk about what's going on the floor with some of those guys. So this is the debut one of them. Obviously, we're going to have 3 games off, and then I'm going to be in Hawaii. So the next time we will do this will probably be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but this is a nice little kickoff. It is for members only. That is so we can control the room size because we are limited to a certain capacity because the people we are working with play the Playback app, which is available in the browser. You do not need to download the app beforehand. You will be okay to just click the link. The link will be posted on YouTube. Actually, probably right after we finish the show, I'll probably go put it up there. Well, actually a little bit later because we got started early and it's a national game. So
yeah,
the feed will be the 4-letter. It'll be on that network, so we'll all be linked up. We'll all be watching at the same time. That'll be kind of the way that we go. So that's the business part of this out of the way alongside of like, rate, review, subscribe. And if you're watching right now, help us grow the channel. Click the subscribe button. I think we're at 2,200 now. I think that's where we're at. That's where we started out like pre-show. So there we go. Cool. Thank you all so very much. Arinthian just actually subscribed and became a member. So thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's still rad to see that happen. Like it still kind of blows me away. So thank you all so very much. Horrible news. CJ McCollum out indefinitely. Suffered a collapsed lung.
Is there an injury that sounds worse than it?
Ruptured testicle.
Okay, yeah, ruptured testicle. But that only impacts 50% of the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the other 50% is like, well, whatever.
Well, 50% of it has like an actual guttural feeling. The other 50% is probably looking at it like, ooh, that sounds pretty awful. I'm trying to think. When was the last time we had one? Because we've had him in
Gerald
the NBA.
Wallace.
Was it Gerald was the last one, I think?
I forget. I
thought we had one in the NFL.
Oh, I'm sure we've had plenty in the NFL.
No, I thought we had one like was bad. Like it was like, oh God. Somebody got hit. Oh, was it baseball? I think it might have been a pitch.
Hold on.
I don't want to search that. You can put that in your Google history.
Like Tyrod Taylor.
There we go.
Well, his was punctured lung.
Here's the punctured lung. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the cortisone shot.
Breeze had it last year.
Oh God.
He had broken ribs and a collapsed lung.
Well, that's what typically happens. Is you get that space in, like your rib slips or pops out or you fracture, and you get that airspace in between your lung and your ribs, and all of a sudden it goes out like.
Does anybody think of the lung like this, and then like when you hear collapse, you just think like this, and you're like, how do you breathe? That sounds like an awful injury. It
does. Like it's obviously the worst thing is when you get like this, like the sucking chest wound. You get the the intubating the tube through and trying to fill it from the outside kind of a deal. But
it sounds like something that would kill you.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like collapsed lung.
In the worst cases, it does, but in sports cases, it's actually not that uncommon. It's not frequent, but it's not something that just pops up all the time. So cursory Google research, I was like, I don't know what the recovery timeline is for that because I don't think I really have been around it all that much. Typically 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal. Now, in the worst cases, it can be a little bit longer, but it's not something that is all that bad. And Jesse Diaz says Canner had a collapsed lung, and Canner, he was back the next game. Like it was, and trying to think somebody else had one that was pretty bad, but they were out for 10 days and they came back.
I forgot Canner had a collapsed lung.
Yeah, he missed the second half of a game. That was it. It's just like, okay.
I think somebody looked in Gerald Wallace when he had it in 2014 or 2015. He missed 6 games.
So again, it's not a ton.
No.
It just sounds way, way worse than it is. Unfortunately, this paints Quick's article, I think, in a different light. As far as his farewell message, so to speak, to Jason Quick. For those of you who haven't read it, go ahead, check it out. He had a kind of a conversation with Quick. I think characterized it with a roundabout version of CJ basically saying goodbye, because there's a very strong likelihood that CJ McCollum has played his last game as a Trailblazer. I sent that text message out to about a dozen people, kind of surveying them. They cover the team or the NBA in various capacity, or they work in the league. And to a man, every single one of them, Brandon, said, nah, probably. Which, well, I expected to get a nah.
I mean, it depends what Joe's getting, but normally in this situation, you don't want to jeopardize your asset. It's a pretty big asset. I mean, it's at least the biggest one you're willing to trade. So in that case, like I wouldn't be surprised when he sat the last game, the Clipper game, when they announced that he wasn't playing. Like, we text, and I was like, I wonder if that's it. I wonder if we have seen the last of him. And
I kind of joked, like, I don't know, man. And then, yikes.
I mean, 6 more games takes you well past the 15th.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll say this. It was Quick's always good at finding the human element of sports and kind of reminding us that there's humans involved with this. Clearly he went through a lot last year with the pandemic, with life in general.
Just life. I mean, like, millions makes it easier, but
yeah, it does.
It doesn't make it like impervious.
No.
I can't imagine trying to have a kid right now.
It's probably pretty stressful. I mean, it was really stressful last year for a lot of people. Like, my wife is in the health field, and she was telling me just they were literally only letting like just the guy in. Like, and a lot of women like to have a mom or a sister or sisters, and there was none of that allowed. And last year was really tough for a lot of people, obviously. But I thought it was a reminder of even a dude that's probably going to be worth $500 million by the time he retires. Like, even those people can go through it.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Speaking of a lot, now let's circle back to Damian Lillard, because that's actually the title that I have on the lower third, Brandon. Damian Lillard, it's a lot. Cortisone, callouts, and commitments. The news of the day is that Damian Lillard did get a cortisone shot. That's what him and I have in common. I got mine tomorrow at 11:20. So shout out cortisone shots to, get you through the day.
Yes. Some people just want to walk without pain. Some people need to play basketball without pain.
I just want to go to Hawaii. I want to be able to get on a bleeping plane without having to, cut off my leg for each day that I get there, or that I come and go. 6 hours on a plane. I mean, come on, man. But called out. Wells P. Basically, I think he put a meme up of Trump and Pence and characterized it as Neil and Woj going back and forth to sabotage Dame. And,
I think they were shaking hands.
Yeah. And Dame basically said, not surprised.
Yeah.
Not surprised. It is a weird situation indeed. And here's what I'll say about the Woj Fed article. I believe most of it's true. I don't think anything in there really wasn't characterized as true. Dame did say he wanted Jason Kidd. Did say he wanted Chauncey Billups. Publicly, none of this stuff ever gets out. Not in Portland, but around the country and around the NBA. Superstars angle for everything, and they should. You only have a limited earning capacity.
Some do it a little more publicly, not like necessarily with their words, but like it's, you get a Chris Haynes tweet, like sources say so-and-so wants this or so-and-so is seeking this. Like, that's usually what we get. Now, was it Woj in the article, or was it somebody else that had mentioned Dame really liked the idea of Mike D'Antoni too? Yeah, no, again, things that you and I discussed in the summer and all these things. That's the thing. You and I, other media members, people who have much more information, we talk about this stuff all the time. And there's so much of it that never goes public. It's for a reason. It's not that what Woj said isn't true. It's that it's very targeted and looking to paint Damian Lillard in a very specific light. And that's kind of what pissed me off. It's not like that he's seeking 2 years, $107 million. I don't give a shit. Like,
he should.
Give him the money, man. Like, this dude's had to put up with this, but it's more just, it's more what you said. It's the light. It's like, let me bring an article that's going to report that Dame is wanting this and he's wanting that, and it's going to be really
Make
hard
him
to
seem
find
like
a new
he's really
GM.
needy, and it's,
Yeah, and I don't know. Somebody made a good point on Twitter today. It was basically like, you ever notice that Woj never has anything from the Dame camp? It's always from.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. This is how the pie is sliced. For anybody who doesn't know, here the links that are drawn in the NBA. Woj is linked to executives, executive agents, and a handful of top tier players that will run things through him. Shams is the players and players agents and a few executives. Those are the battle lines drawn in the sand. So I saw a lot of people saying that it's Neil behind us. I'm like, oh, it's probably Neil's agent. If Neil loses out on his contract, guess what his agent loses out on? Commission.
Yeah. And by the way, it sounds like he is going to probably battle.
Of course he is.
The ruling on that.
Of course he is.
So he'll probably still get some money out of this.
He'll either get a buyout in an NDA or he'll get nothing. I think is like if I'm sitting here looking at Neil O'Shea, I'm thinking you push as far as you can to get something, because your lawyers, I have a hard time believing, are better than Microsoft lawyers. I'm just throwing it out there, man. You may have good legal representation when it comes to like the 99%. You do not have good legal representation when it comes to the top 0.1%.
I think 20 billion buys you better representation than $15 million. I'm
just going to go out on a limb and say their retainer's probably a little bit more than yours.
Is there any part of you, Danny, though? Like I'm with everybody. Like I hate when these Neil slanted things come out and Dame this, Dame that. And like we've been there, we've been around it. Like it's not to say he's a perfect person, but he's great. He is a franchise guy. He's what you would want to represent your city and your team. But there's always going to be that element of me in the back of my head. Like when he quote tweets and says, not surprised. I'm like, I wish we would have heard this, or I wish this would have been pushed a little harder before this thing got to this point is my only slight sports media / fan observation that I've kind of held on to. Is you could kind of tell like he really wasn't as committed to Neil as he was Terry. And I thought that was always evident in his public comments. It was always Terry, me and Terry. He didn't really go out of his way a whole lot to talk about Neil. And when you come out and say, I'm not surprised that dude ended up being a snake, it's like, well, why'd we work with a snake for so long?
And that's part of the problem. I do appreciate the fact that after 7 years of me yelling about it, people finally believe.
You had a lot of people come out yesterday and really finally believed, didn't you?
Ooh, burned holes in the ground backtracking that hard. Andrew Barrett says, Nate Jones fired back about Neil over Twitter. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, trust me, we all saw it.
Yeah. I think we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we did. But
I couldn't find the tweet, but it was like he just went at him and said, oh, this dude's a snake.
Yeah, I mean, the bell we've been ringing for a very, very, very long time. Michael asks if it's in Portland or San Fran. This is the one road game sandwich in between 8 home games. So 4 in the front, and then one little quick road trip to go get your ass kicked, come back home for 4 more home games. The good news is they do have 3 days off, and Damian Lillard will be reevaluated. And judging by what Chris put out there, Chris Haynes, I should say, I would expect Dame back on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's what the report said, right? He did the cortisone shot so he could be back right after.
You take a couple days to let it work its magic. Because for those that don't know, a cortisone shot, steroid, it'll make you feel better, but it takes a few days to kind of break up and get in and do its work, which is why I'm getting mine on Thursday, so I can have it on the plane on Sunday night.
Yes.
Sunday morning. Oh, God. Well, we made it 29 minutes and 40 seconds into this before we're talking about this game. And you know what we're going to talk about in this game? The line, because by God, I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. So, Warriors are favored by 14.5. Last I checked. Let me pull up the live line. Yes, Miss Puppy? My wife is not here, so the door is open in the studio in the house, and there's a puppy here who's very, very irritated right now. You want to come say hi? Come here. Come
Bring
here.
The pup up.
Come here. Oh, here you go, baby. All right. She should calm down now. But the line is still the same. It has not moved. It is at 14.5. The over-under has not moved. It's been at 216 the entire time, and Portland is still straight up plus 950.
To win the game, the money line's 950.
Yikes.
Are we going to get wild?
I'm not. I'm taking the over.
Oh, okay. I'm not either. Give me the Warriors minus the 14.5.
You're going to take
how
it,
this. I mean,
that's
honest
just
to God,
such
man.
a massive line.
It is, but can't you see them being up 25 going into the fourth? They play for 3 minutes and Steph sits and then it's back and forth. I just don't know how this team keeps it closer than that.
Okay, here's a crazier thing to bet on. Steph on the 16 threes.
Okay. No chance.
Do you think he gets that many
Zero.
up?
Oh, yeah. He'll get 16 up.
You think so?
I wouldn't be shocked if he had 18 up tonight.
Okay.
What's their next game? Are they at home? Because I think he wants to break this up.
No, they go on the road.
For like a long road trip?
They go for a couple. There was a couple people wondering because they're going to play Philly, which means he would have an opportunity to break it playing against his brother.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
His brother probably comes out, gives him a hug. Like, that's a cool moment.
I don't think Boston's on the trip, which would be kind of interesting considering the record he's breaking is Ray Allen's.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they don't own. I mean, they disowned Ray Allen a long time ago. So
they did, of course. I'm trying to update. I think we're getting updates right now on who is. There we go. Nas is going to go. Nas is going to go.
Oh, we get Nas tonight.
We do get Nas. We do get McLemore. Simons and Zeller. Zeller is now out. I don't know what happened, but he was on the injury report with a right quad. Are you calmed down now? Okay, I'm going to put you down. There you go. So I guess it's more wood on the sacrificial fire.
Do you think that Chauncey has played Nance the right way?
No. I think that's been one of the few things that he's gotten wrong as far as lineups and rotations. I think for the most part they've done pretty well in that regard. Do
you think they should shop him?
Nance, no. I think that should be the last guy that try to. If they're going to build around Dame one more time, you hold on to Larry Nance because of how valuable he can be and how well he can fit.
I think that's the part of it is how good of an asset is he compared to some of the other guys you want to trade.
Listen, if giving up Nance was the difference between getting Ben Simmons or not, then I'd probably have to consider that, right? Because it's a top-end talent league. But it does limit what you can do going forward as far as
that's what Nurkic traded. That's what a Nurkic trade
and a Covington trade. But then you probably have to dump out the young guys, too, in a deal to get more roster balance. That's where it gets a little dicey, man. That's where Neal's inability to get anything and to turn – I'm not only mad about the Covington deal. I wanted Gordon. I'm on record as wanting Gordon. I still think the Covington deal was the right deal if it was a Covington.
You mean the Powell move?
Huh?
Talking about the Powell trade?
No, the Covington trade. Like trading 2 first-round picks for Covington.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
No, the assets necessary to do that. If the option was Covington trade or nothing, I think they made the right move in trying to chase something there. I just think they took too long to do it. But if you look at the asset chain from 2016 on, they turned all of those contracts in 2016 into Hassan Whiteside and Kent Bazemore.
Yep.
Hassan Whiteside left for nothing. Kent Bazemore was traded for Trevor Ariza. Trevor Ariza and 2 first-round picks were traded for Robert Covington. So all of that, for everything that you have from 2016 on, you have to show is Robert Covington. Because you lost Zach Collins for nothing. 2 first-round picks for nothing.
You traded 2 picks to get Zach for nothing.
So you took 4 first-round picks and turned it into Robert Covington. I am not mad about it being Robert Covington. I'm mad about the idiot who made those moves.
It's more about that was the move every year. It was, well, let me shake up a 4th or 5th guy or 6th guy on a team and then tell you it's a title contender because that's different. It's like, what? No. No, it's not. And
it was all very dumb.
Look, I'll admit, I'm just like any other Blazer fan when I watch these games. Sometimes they can suck you in, right? They go on a run or they look good.
Objectively fun.
Yeah, they've had a lot of fun moments over the years. But I think in the grand scheme, we maybe should not have fallen so hard for a team that largely just got bounced in the first round.
And thus Danny Downer was born. Nick Smarikoff asks, can we get 2 first-round picks for Covington if the Blazers trade him? They can get a protected first.
Yeah, they can get 2.
Like, I'm not thrilled about that Marvin Bagley deal that Kevin Pelton put out there, but being able to recoup a bit of an asset that you might be able to flip in both Bagley and a first-round pick,
I wouldn't hesitate.
Probably do that. Quentin Porter with the most damning thing here. Robert Covington is basketball Jamal Adams. That's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
That's not wrong at all.
That's an astute comparison.
And me and your boy Nemec were talking about that when that trade first went down, that Seattle was going to regret every last bit of that.
Yeah, that was a bad take by me because I thought I liked Adams and I just looked at Seattle as could be a key player on that side of the ball away. So I'm one. Look, it's an awful deal. It's easily one of the worst deals in the NFL. But I'm also one that I will maintain this opinion. The NFL values, we value draft picks way too much.
Oh, yeah. And also, swinging for it and bombing is less sinful than sitting on your ass and doing nothing.
Right. Now, Seattle obviously way overpaid for that because their pick, because they suck and they're probably not making the playoffs. In fact, I'd be willing to bet they won't. That pick's going to go to the Jets.
And the Jets now have real capital. Yikes. Okay. So, the next 15 days are going to be very interesting on the trade floor. Who gets moved? I think you and I are both locked in that in the next, what's today's date? 20 days, essentially. Somebody's getting moved between CJ, Nurk, and Cov. Yes?
I would hope it happens within 20 days.
Before the new year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to get to the 25th and say this roster's the same.
Had this wrapped up before Christmas. Let's go.
16th, 17th, 18th. Get it done. Be on the phone now. Be like, when we can do this, let's do this.
It's really funny. I'm getting replies on Twitter and in the chat of the line being 15 points, and everybody's like, only 15? There's a lot of them.
Hey, Dirt is betting the alternative spread. He's taking Golden State minus 25.
I saw a minus 23 and it paid out at 350.
I think the one he got is 4-1 or 450 to it's some crazy amount. And I was like, dude, that's a lot of points. He goes, I don't give a shit. I'm tired of this team. I was like, go win that money then, man.
Sid the Funk says draft picks are the mystery box from Family Guy. In the NFL, absolutely. In the NBA, there is a straight line you can draw on rate of return from the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth picks. It is a arc that just goes down. If you have a number one and number two pick, yeah, it's weird. Like the 7th pick, because the Kings usually are like 4th, 5th. The 7th, 6th, and 7th picks are always higher because you get teams that make really crappy decisions.
Stupid decisions, yes. Which, by the way, Amick told me that little note today that he actually threw out Sharif as a GM candidate. Said he checks all the boxes.
It checks the main box, which is that he's a Goodwin client.
They share an agent. But he said that Sharif, when he started getting into the front office stuff, went and did work with Sacramento in the Dame draft, and he was adamant. He was telling them, take this dude. He is amazing. And they took Thomas Robinson.
Yeah.
So, they kanged it.
Solomon Hill came out and bodied the Kings today.
I saw that.
That was great.
He must be really good friends with Buddy to tweet that.
Roast him like that. Absolutely.
That was a fantastic tweet.
Get
Kevin
well
Durant
soon.
was jealous of that.
You too, bro. You're still on the Kings. Guy out for the year saying you too.
And the response was from a tweet of a guy saying, "You're in my prayers. I hope you get better." And he goes, "Yeah, you too. Your team fucking sucks." It's like, that's the response you're getting? Yikes.
So if you ever want to know how the Kings are viewed by NBA players, there you go. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. We will come back with the live watch party. All right, so what you will need to do if you are not a member, you will need to become a member to see the community post. The community post will have the link. The link will take you to the spot on the app in the browser. So you do not need to download anything at this time. When the app itself goes live, there may be opportunities to download the app so that there's more interactive features and things of that nature. But I will post the link here. It's hard to say because it's national TV. I would imagine I probably post it around like 7:15 if the game. Well, it's a 7 o'clock game, which means national tip will probably be like 7:12, 7:15. So I'll probably be closer to 7:30. I'll do it a little early, so it won't be an issue. But Brandon and I will already be in the room. If you guys have issues, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know. And I'll try to make sure that everything is good in that regard. But this is only for members, and that is to limit the amount of people that gets in the room because the product itself is still in beta. So we do have a cap on what we can do. And this seemed like the easiest way to do it while also trying to grow another community. And you guys are in the Discord channel. I'm trying to get some people to help with the Discord, and it's already going nuts. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it. We will catch you on the post-game show, obviously, afterwards. But for the live watch party, if you guys have questions, you can DM me. I'll do what I can to help you out. Until then, everybody, take care. You can find us on social media, at Danny Marang, at Brandon Sprague, at Jacked Ramsays. Take care. Try not to take this ass whooping too serious.
Don't worry, the play-by-play will not be actual play-by-play. It will be fun.
Well, we might do. If Greg Brown gets in the game, I'm going to do some play-by-play.
I want to hear your dunk call.
Listen, man.
Is it a call or is it like an orgasmic noise?
It's yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's influenced. It's got some Kevin Harlan. It's got some oh my God, lose your mind college football guy.
Oh, Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson. Yeah. It's Charlotte Hornets, Miles Bridges dunks. Like it's
Eric Collins.
It's got a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling. A lot of static in the microphone. So
great. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Jack Welling asks, will all members who want to be let into the room, was it first come, first serve? It's technically first come, first serve, but I will tell you right now, we don't have the max members without getting into the numbers of stuff.
There you go.
So everybody who is a member as of right now will be able to get in the room.
It's just a line, one at a time.
Just broop.
Yep.
I would imagine that there may be a hiccup or two. Just try to bear with us. And Joey asked if we still doing a post game. Yes, we will still do a post game. On these nights, typically, obviously this one went a little bit longer because there was so much bleeping news. And on these nights when we do the watch parties, we will do what we did tonight, which is start the pregame earlier to give Brandon and I a chance to go grab food, take care of kids or whatever in his case, and otherwise get away. But yeah, it's a long way to wrap this up and say, join us. We'll catch you all then. Take care. Talk soon. Go Blazers and all that. Bye.